Does your life matter? Do you matter? Is there any good reason to think your life is truly worth living other than the fact you may want it to be? Is there any real objective value for anyone? This is the most important question that anyone can ask in life. And if you don't have a solid answer, you're in trouble. Countless people wander throughout life without much meaning or much direction. Many people just go through the motions as if they're just on this road to nowhere. Others take initiative and actively pursue a meaningful life, yet come up short, finding many questions, many longings, and few answers. The longing that you have to get rid of the dreariness or restlessness can be fulfilled because your life does matter. You matter. There's a reason you're here. You are of unmeasurable value. Your uniqueness is so important whether you recognize it or not. You're cared for. You're loved. And here's the bombshell. You are worth dying for. Stick around to find out why. This is the Hitchhiker to Heaven series, and I'm here to give you a lift. How do you measure your value? This world tells us all sorts of ways to measure self-worth. Do you find your value in the number of friends you have, as if the more other people think you're important, the more important you must be? With how addicted so much of the world is to social media and popularity, this sure seems like a solid starting point. Is it the things you possess that make you special? Is it that you have more of something than others that makes you more valuable or better than them? Do you put a figurative dollar amount on what makes you worth something to this world? Maybe it's your looks. Maybe a lot of people find you attractive, and that's what gives you your life meaning. Or maybe it's your influence on others. Do you like the control that you have over people? Is that what makes your life worth living? Why are you here? Some of those standards may actually sound appealing to you, but think a little bit harder about what that means. Are your shiny things or your money tied to your worth? Then if a few too many raindrops fall on your parade, you could become worthless. Do your looks give you meaning? Let time run its course and that supermodel figure will look more like and be about as worth as much as a box of raisins. Is life a popularity contest? If it is, you may accidentally end up liking something trivial like the wrong style of leisure suit, and your friends might change their minds about you, and your popularity and value might end up being about the same as a 10-day-old tuna sandwich. Or if someone who has a way with words convinces more people to follow them than you might end up having as much power and use as a battery that runs off lemon juice. Here's the thing. No amount of any of those standards or any other standard the world can offer gives you an objective purpose for your life. All those materialistic measurements can be here today and gone tomorrow and take your dignity with them. Then, if that's the case, what standard of measuring one's value doesn't fall prey to this ever-changing world? What about science? What can science answer? It can tell you your height, your age, your weight, your sex, hair, eye, and skin color. It can calculate any of your extrinsic properties. But what about your intrinsic properties? What instrument can measure the amount of love you hold in your heart? How does one test the beauty of your soul? What lab test can reveal why your particular life matters? Science can tell you how you exist, but it can't tell you why. It can answer countless questions about the universe around us, but none of the questions about the universe within us. So is there no hope? Is there no universal way to determine that people actually have value or a reason to live? Even if they have no friends, relatively no possessions, don't make any top 10 hottest lists, or have no authority, and so on. Before you come to a conclusion to that question, ask yourself this. How do you find the purpose of anything? You ask its maker. Let me give you an example. How do we know what the purpose is of a light bulb? Well, You ask its maker, Thomas Edison. We know what light bulbs are because their design and intention came from his mind. And he told us. The maker gave us that revelation. How do we know what an automobile is? Carl Benz told us. He gave it its design, and he revealed its purpose. Steve Jobs, he gave a purpose, a design, to the iPhone. How do we know the purpose of a Snuggie? Well, actually, that's a joke. Everyone knows Snuggies aren't real. My point is, the only way you can really know why something exists is to ask its maker. If you want to know the purpose, if you want to know if there's a reason for you to be alive, if you want to find out if you matter, you have to ask the author of your life. You have to ask God. Oh boy. All right, I said it. The capital G word. This day and age, people, especially on the internet, get pretty intolerant when you start talking about God, and I think there's good reason for the hostility. First, God's existence is kind of like the existence of love. You can't possibly prove it using science, which angers the materialists and science-onlyists of our times, but it's undoubtedly real, given the proofs of experience all around you. If you need more discussion on proving God's existence, I recommend you start by reading anything and everything on the website strangenotions.com, and also anything by the physicist and priest. Yeah, that's right. I said physicist and priest, Father Robert Spitzer. Second, I think more and more people get angry when talking about God because fewer and fewer people are happy with life. Because fewer and fewer people are happy about there being a divine authority who cares about you and what you're doing with the life that he gives you. But please bear with me. It's my intent to tell you and show you things you've never heard or seen before. Talk about God, spirituality, religion, and morality needs to be brought down to earth. You have tough questions and you deserve good answers. Maybe spirituality seems bland and weird or pointless or disconnected or worse to you. But if you give this Hitchhiker to Heaven series a chance, I guarantee I'll make true the statement you may think you know, but you have no idea. Back to the topic at hand. What makes your life so valuable? The answer is, your life is worth dying for. Literally. God, your creator, the one who knows your purpose, cares about you so much that he died for you. This is the point where everything I've talked about so far comes full circle. You may have heard this quote, good news before. It's the core principle of Christianity. God loves us so much that he became man and died for us. You may think you know what that means, but you may have no idea. I have the gall to say that because I was raised since infancy in a Christian church, family, school system, and social life. Yet, it wasn't until 18 years of this indoctrination that someone turned my world upside down and told me the side of the story you'd never hear your Sunday school teacher tell you. The real story is provocative and powerful. It's one filled with war, torture, massive storms, orgies, slaughtering cute, harmless animals, murder, despair, and all sorts of horrible things. Never in my wildest dreams would I have ever thought that had anything to do with this guy named Jesus that claimed to be God incarnate dying on a cross. And now, of course, what's all that about? I mean, it's nice and all that someone loves me enough to want to die for me. And I always made an analogy to someone throwing me out of the way of an oncoming bus and losing their life. So it sure sounds heroic and loving, but every Christian still dies. So what's the point? And why a cross? Why was the death so brutal and in such an extraordinary way? Please join me for the rest of this topic. If I've piqued your interest, we're just barely getting started, and you're in for a big surprise. Again, welcome to the Hitchhiker to Heaven. I'm here to give you a lift.